What's going on, guys? I'm Andrew.
I'm Jason.
And this is Movie Source.
Today we're going to be reviewing Captain America,
the first Avenger. Alright, so this movie came out in August 2011, and I remember when I saw this movie, a lot of hype going in because I really enjoyed Thor up to that point. I liked Iron Man 2, I didn't love it. I enjoyed Iron Man 1. I actually liked Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. So up to this point, I had liked it, and we really knew that the Avengers was coming at this point. So coming in, I was really looking forward to this. Now, when they announced Chris Evans was going to be Captain America, I was like, wow, Johnny Storm from Fantastic Four. I didn't know how I felt, so I wanted to keep my mind open. But I was a little more towards the negative side, but after the movie came out, I ate my words.
Yeah,
He's
incredible
great as Captain America.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He's just like the ultimate, perfect golden boy. I couldn't imagine anybody else at this point being Captain America. So I think Chris Evans did a really good job. And it fit the whole tone of this movie. Like, he was funny when he needed to be. He was serious when he needed to be. He was a perfect fit.
Yeah, and two, I love right away in the very beginning, in the first scene, right away we understand this character immediately. Like, he's taking a beating. He loves his country. He's willing to fight, stand up for what he believes in.
He can do this all day.
Yeah, he doesn't like bullies. And by the way, that line, I can do this all day. That's twice we hear that line in the movie, when he's getting beat up by the bully in the alley, and then also by the Red Skull later when he's getting beat up. Also in one of the trailers for Captain America Civil War, he also says that line, so a lot of callbacks there to the first film, this film as well. So I like that. That's in his characteristic. He doesn't matter if he believes in something, he's gonna take a beating. He doesn't care. So I love that about him.
And they made him look so tiny in the movie.
Wow, yeah.
The visual effects were great for that. I mean, it had to be some sort of double, but with his face or whatever.
Yeah, no,
that looked great. I thought it was hilarious how small he looked,
then
how big he looked afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. No, I've seen the movie several times now, and every time I see him when he's smaller, it really gets me every time. Like, it really looks real, and it's convincing too. And also what I love about Steve Rogers and Chris Evans' portrayal, he does not change after he gets the super soldier serum. He's still the same person. He's a good man. A
lot of that has to do with the doctor who basically, made him Captain America, because he says, stay true to who you are, don't change.
Yeah, because good becomes great, bad becomes worse. That's Dr. Erskine, right? It's played by Stanley Tucci. By the way, Stanley Tucci,
did really good.
Fantastic. I mean, he's an American actor, and his German accent, me personally, I thought it was spot on. I thought he did a great job. I loved his...
And he was funny, too.
Yeah, I was just about to say, his banter with Steve Rogers' comedic timing. I don't have a procedure tomorrow.
He's trying to give him a drink. He's like, wait, you have procedure tomorrow. You can't drink.
Yeah, no, the comedic timing.
All right, we'll have it after.
Yeah, and also...
No, I'll drink it now.
Yeah, no, it was definitely funny. There was definitely a lot of humoristic moments. I felt the comedic timing in the film was pretty spot on for the most part.
Yeah, they interweaved it with the serious moments, and it didn't really feel like it was too much of a shift.
Yeah, or rather also out of place. I completely agree with you. Also, too, we got to mention the director of this film, Joe Johnston. I've enjoyed a lot of his films. First, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids back in 1989. Great film. Jumanji, I can't even count how many times I saw that in 1995. Great film with Robin Williams. Also, Jurassic Park 3. I'm not a huge fan of that film, but still...
I still like it, but...
It's okay. But it's definitely obviously not as good as the first one. No. But in general, I've liked Joe, and also The Rocketeer, of course. Love The Rocketeer. That movie's awesome. I have felt a lot of themes and moments from The Rocketeer in this. A lot of homages I felt too, because also they're in a lot at the same time frame,
Right.
So I mean, well, this is World War II, but I mean that one's more, I think, like 1919. I could be wrong, but I think it's something more towards that. But still, earlier in period piece in time. So I like that aspect of it, and I thought Joe did a really great job. Just again, because this, I guess in the timeline, this is obviously a prequel, even though it's set after the other films, but I just thought he did a really good job interweaving the story, fitting it in with the other Avengers, rather, and then leading up to the Avengers. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, I agree, and there's so many, epic and iconic shots in this movie, just of Captain America, running or throwing the shield, or, when he's swinging on that rope at the very end. There's just so many iconic shots of a very iconic character. I thought he did a good job of putting those in the movie without them seeming really forced. They're all within the action.
All the action scenes of Steve Rogers, Captain America, just beating up the Hydra villains. I loved it. Just a gripe for me in this film, when we get the action montage, I actually wanted to get more in depth and see some more of those action scenes because
Yeah.
I mean we've been sold on the trailers. It was basically the same scenes we'd seen in the trailer.
Yeah,
so
we saw the one where he first saves all the people in Bucky.
That was great.
And that was a great scene.
And the Howling Commanders. I love the Howling Commandos. I love the Howling Commandos. They are so great. The way they work together, they are so funny and great. So I thought the chemistry between all those actors. I'd even be down for like I think they were talking about a Howling Commandos TV show. So if they ever do that, I'm so down to watch that. Also in this film, we are finally introduced to one of the Infinity Stones. We're introduced to the Tesseract. Now, the Tesseract, from what we know, is it's the Space Gem, rather. The Space Stone are in this universe because they're in the Infinity Stones, not the Infinity Gems. And what this does, as we find out in the Avengers, it can lead a portal into space, and that's, people can go through.
We see it in this movie, too.
Yeah, at the end with Red Skull. But also, too, I know Red Skull, he takes a lot of the energy, and Arnim Zola also puts it into his weapon, so... I mean, I thought that was cool how we finally got to see an Infinity Stone finally in this universe, and now they started interweaving it, because it's almost like, in Harry Potter's universe, he's got the Horcruxes, so finally we got, like, something in this universe that's going to interweave everything together in the MacGuffin of the universe, so, and this is obviously what Thanos is after, one of these things, so I like how finally we're getting one of our introductions to the Infinity Stones. I thought they did a really good job playing off, and also I love how when the Red Skull finds it at the beginning, it's in Odin's chest, so that was a cool little tie-in to Thor there, too, so, and speaking of the Red Skull, I gotta say, yeah, Hugo Weaving, he's in my top 5 Marvel villains for me. I think he's either 4 or 5, I'm not sure, but he's definitely one of my top 5 favorite Marvel villains. I thought Hugo Weaving was very menacing. He was a cold-hearted, ruthless killer. But what I loved about this villain, he was very smart. I love high IQ villains and who also believe they're doing the right thing.
Well, he just wants, domination all around. Like Arnim Zola even says, his target is everywhere. So he just wants to dominate everything. That's all he cares about.
Yeah, no, he's definitely he's for sure. No, he's not. He's evil. But what I'm saying is he's very menacing, and you also, again, he's got the same, he's a super soldier too, like Steve Rogers, so you feel that threat level against Steve. Like, Steve can't just beat this guy up and call it a day. Yeah, he's got the same powers.
They have that pretty sick fight up on that bridge when everything's exploding, and then Armswell pulls the lever and they separate. But it was a quick little fight, but I liked actually having them fight in the beginning of the movie.
And then he rips the mask off.
Yeah, it was really cool. I also really like the first shot you see of Arnim Zola, and he's like looking through that little like a looking glass or something, but it's a kind of a callback to how he looks in the comics. So I thought that was really cool too.
I never noticed that until you pointed that out. So it was definitely a really cool Easter egg for sure.
I liked him in the movie too. He was a good counterbalance to Red Skull. He's just like kind of a shriveling little guy who just designs weapons, but he can't, like he says, I can't fire them.
Yeah, no, I mean. This guy played by the actor who voiced Dobby in the Harry Potter universe or films. No, I thought he did a great job. And what I liked about this character, he's literally the exact same as Dr. Urchin, Stanley Tucci. The only difference is he's a coward. Dr. Urchin, Stanley Tucci, he knew what he was doing was not the right thing, so he defected. He joined the Americans. He did the right thing. This guy, even though he's not evil and bad and wants to dominate the world like Johann Schmidt, he is a coward.
He joined the side who he thinks is going to win.
Well, I mean, yeah, but not only that, but I'm saying he just doesn't want to die. That's why he's helping out. So
right.
That's why.
And he's a little bit different than Dr. Urchin, because Urchin, is the one who's making that serum, and then Zola is all about weapons. So they're similar. But
Well, when I mean they're similar, I mean they're both geniuses.
Right. Yeah,
so
they're very smart.
That's what I mean. He's using them, or Johann Schmidt, aka the Red Skull. He's using them for their brain, for their genius intuition. So that's what I love about both those characters. And then you see the polar opposite sides. One is a brave man, does the right thing. One of them is a coward.
And you can see how terrified he is of Red Skull, like all the time.
Yeah, so. Like when he says it's a masterpiece. No, for sure.
Yeah, when he's drawing, the guy's making a painting of him.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool because they kind of hit his face in the beginning. You didn't quite see him as Red Skull right away, but you knew something was up. So.
Every time we see the Red Skull, I still love the look. They really got down to some reason. Always makes me think of the mask, just in a little red. Bit. So
yeah,
but no, I still love the look of it. Yeah, I still love the look of it. It really looked straight out of the comics. It's way better look than that other Captain America in 1990 film.
Well,
everything about that movie was a joke. But overall, I thought this film was very menacing. He's in my top 5 favorite Marvel villains, which I know to a lot of people is not saying much because Marvel has a rap for not having the greatest villains. I thought Hugo Weaving did a great job, and I know he doesn't really, in fact, want to come back to do it again, but he's contractually obligated, so
We
he
might
said,
see him in
yeah, I mean,
Infinity
because
War.
as you just said, we saw at the end, he goes right into, he holds the Tesseract. He probably goes right up into a portal in space, and I would assume he goes to Thanos, and then maybe they make it.
Maybe,
Yeah,
we don't know. We don't know where he went.
we're just speculating now, but
everyone, you think he might be dead too, but
no,
he's definitely not.
he's 110% not dead for
Yeah.
sure. Not, he either went to Thanos or somewhere else in space, but he's completely alive. And Hugo Weaving even said, if I don't want to come back to the role, but if they make me, I will have to. So I hope they make him come back because I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, no, he's definitely awesome.
All right, so really cool too. I thought that they did a really cool job. Just every time he was in a fight, from being beaten up by the bully in the movie theater alley, he had the trash can lid, kind of like a shield.
Yeah, he holds it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And he gets knocked in the face still, but
yeah, and then after that, when he's finally got the super soldier serum, he's got the door now, from the taxi car that he's using as a shield.
With the star on it. And
yeah,
uses it as a shield
exactly.
Too,
and the Hydra soldier is firing at him. Then after that, he's got the one where he's doing the American films as Captain America. I love that whole sequence, by the way. It's so funny.
Yeah,
but just he's got that new shield now, which is not the shield he's going to end up using, but he did use that in the sequence to save Bucky, of course, which was a great action sequence. And then he gets the vibranium one from from Howard Stark, rather, played by Tony Stark's father, or portrayed by Tony Stark's father, rather. I think it's Dominic Cooper, I think, or something like that. But he was awesome, by the way, as Howard Stark. He looks just like Robert Downey Jr. too.
And he has the same sort of
suave,
swagger.
No, definitely agree. But I love the foreshadowing in this film of showing all the shields, like the progression of all the shields that he ends up using. So I thought that was really cool and an interesting stylistic choice for Joe Johnston to do.
Yeah, because it shows Howard Stark showing of a bunch of these different shields. And he's like, "Oh, what about this one?" He's like, "Oh, that's the rarest metal on Earth. That's all of it that we have."
Vibranium, and that's obviously we were talking about. Hey, did you notice any more Easter eggs?
Yeah,
clearly an Easter egg to Black Panther vibranium. That's mention of Wakanda with the black, as we just said, the Black Panther. That's T'Challa. And obviously he's the prince and going to be the king of Wakanda. So definitely an Easter egg there. So that's one we just that we remember as well. So I love that call through for again. Marvel does a great job of planting seeds, and then later on, it's like they don't forget. If they foreshadow or plant the seed, they're not going to forget about it. They come back to it.
They've been doing it since the very beginning. In Iron Man 2, even the Hulk. Every single movie, they are planting more that.
Well, in Iron Man 2, we saw the Captain America shield, and we can go on and on. But no, absolutely, you're completely right. I love seeing how much Captain America, his strategies in this film when he's coming up with plans. It's clearly a foreshadowing too of him going to be working with the Avengers, because he's like Batman. He's the tactical commander of the group. He tells everyone, "Hey, go there," because we'll get to an Avengers, but Iron Man says to him, "Call it, Cap." They all, and even in the second Captain America, they all look to him for instruction on the team. So he is phenomenal at strategy and coming up with plans. So I love that about Captain America.
Yeah, I agree. And I love, too, all those scenes where, before he is Captain America and he has to go through all those, training tests. He can't really do it, and all the other guys are trying to, go against him. And then when Tommy Lee Jones' character throws a grenade down and he's the only one who jumps on it, I thought that's, really showing, his true character.
Oh,
and
definitely.
the character of all these other people that Tommy Lee Jones wanted to choose instead of him, but they obviously made the right choice.
Yeah, no, and really quick into Tommy Lee Jones now. It's fair to say I like Tommy Lee Jones in this comic book movie role than I did in his last one, when his face was half scarred as a purple man. But he did great as Colonel Phillips, and I love how at the beginning he just does not at all believe in Steve, and it's understandable. Look at Steve.
Yeah.
Would you believe in a 95-pound man to be your super soldier? So it's very understandable, but I love the arc that when he comes around, when Captain America does, finally get the super soldier serum, and then he saves Bucky and all of them, and he's like, "Sir, I'd like to submit myself for disciplinary action. That won't be necessary." Yeah. Just it's a great
slight smile.
Yeah, but I noticed that too every time. I really did notice that smile too. But and then he says, "Faith, huh?" to Agent Carter. But I like that arc of the character just coming around to, okay, this guy is our best soldier. So I love seeing that. I thought Tommy Lee Jones did a great job in this role. I really enjoyed his performance. Also, we finally get to we meet Peggy Carter, played by Haley Atwell. I thought she was phenomenal. Oh, yeah. What I love about her character, she's very similar to Steve. Both of them are not taken seriously. They both had to work so hard to where they get, because Steve, Obviously, he's a 95-pound man. He's got physical disabilities. It took him a long time to finally get into the army. You know, he tried to enlist. With Peggy, she's a woman. You know, she has to deal with sexism. So, like, they're very similar. They see eye to eye. I love their like, how they, even before he was a super soldier, she sees the real him. And even after he gets the super soldier serum, she sees that he's the real him. One baby little gripe I have is on the contrive of, oh, she walks in when he is kissing that woman after he saves Bucky and all the guys. I just thought that was a little, like, that's such a movie or TV
cliche,
moment. Yeah, it's a very cliched moment.
They had to show a little bit of conflict between them.
Yeah, I get it, but my gripe with that was, like, Steve really did not. I watched it really carefully a couple times. He did not, and I get it. He's human. It was his first kiss.
Yeah,
I totally, I get it, but from the establishment that he was, like, he had strong feelings for Peggy, and she was clearly showing signs that she wanted him. And I know he said, I know you and Howard fondue. I get that, but it didn't need to be there. It didn't further the story. It didn't give any more conflict. It was only for a couple minutes, the conflict. So.
You did get to see that cool shot, though, when he's like, oh, what do you think of the shield? And she shoots him.
I think
it works.
I think it works.
Yeah.
No.
I agree with you.
I like that comedic moment, but you could have had that comedic moment without that, but I still did enjoy that moment, but I don't know. I just didn't feel it was necessary. It was because it only lasted a few minutes also because she forgave him pretty quickly. So I don't know. I just didn't feel it was necessary to be in the movie. But I thought she was incredible. And obviously she got her own TV show. She's great as Peggy Carter. And I really bought their relationship, those two. So they did great. They have great chemistry together. Obviously, we got to talk about Bucky, of course, James Buchanan Barnes. That's Steve Rogers' best friend. Now, also, too, I love early on when he's getting beat up in the alley. It shows their bond and their friendship. Like, he's not going to let his friend get beaten. He's like Steve. He doesn't like bullies, and he stands up for what he believes in and what's right. So I love how similar they are. And again, their bond and their friendship, their chemistry, their interaction together. I thought those two actors did such a great job. And Sebastian Stan, just really good Bucky. Too, we get a lot of foreshadowing for Bucky as Captain America because in this movie he's got the shield
right before he gets knocked up the train.
Exactly,
yeah,
he's got the shield and he's holding it. Which in the comics he does become Captain America at some point in the comics after Steve Rogers. So I thought that was a little nod and Easter egg to that. Also, we're going to talk about when we do the Winter Soldier, which is my favorite MCU movie by far. He was the same thing when him and Steve were fighting. He's got the shield just like this movie too. So. A lot of and again, Marvel, if they foreshadow or plant the seed, it's for a reason. So this is clearly they're showing. Also, too, I had noticed, but I did not really remember until I rewatched it again. We started seeing some experiments from Arnim Zola on Bucky here, which obviously plays a big part in the next film, The Winter Soldier. So obviously we're not going to go too deep into that. We're going to save it for that film. But I thought, again, more foreshadowing. There's a lot of foreshadowing in this film for Bucky, and I thought Marvel did a great job planting those seeds.
We also get a cool Stan Lee cameo when Captain America's about to receive the award for saving everybody. And then the one guy comes out to tell him that he's not going to be there. And Stan Lee's just like, oh, I thought he'd be taller.
I thought he'd be taller. Now, in any great superhero film, we got to talk about the costume, of course. I love this costume. Now, also, too,
he goes through a few of them.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what I love about this is the progression of the costumes. That first one, when he's in the films, and by the way, just really quickly, I love the music in those films. And Alan Silvestri, I loved his score in this. He did Back to the Future, Predator, and The Avengers. Some of my all-time favorite scores. So he's phenomenal. And also Forrest Gump. I love Alan Silvestri. I loved his score in this. The heroic themes for Captain America. It's been stuck in my head now for the last few days. So
definitely.
But I love the music in those films. And I love the progression of the suits. We see the suits in those films, which kind of looks a little bit like just what you would wear on cosplay or something. But it's a throwback to what he used to
the old school comic costume.
Exactly.
Even the shield, I think, is like what he used to.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But I did love that throwback to the old comics, so that was really great and cool to see. And then also the suit he does end up wearing in the film when he's finally got the Howling Commandos. Mm-hmm. I love that suit.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't want to compare, but I love that and the new suit that he's wearing in Avengers Age of Ultron and Civil War. I love them both so much. I can't tell which one I like more, but they're both phenomenal suits, and I love the suit. And Chris Evans, when he's in that suit, again, he just embodies and looks like Captain America,
really does.
Straight out of the comics.
He looks super iconic.
Yeah.
He even says to Bucky, it's kind of growing on me. So he likes the costume. He likes embodying that character, and you can see it.
Also, we got to talk about the climax. Now, I thought it was really great when Captain comes in there and gives himself up again, showing his strategic nature. You know, of like, and also too the line where Red Skull says, "So what makes you so special?" Nothing. I'm
Nothing.
just a kid from Brooklyn. I love that line. Just so defines Steve Rogers right there. But just again, love seeing his strategic moment there for Steve Rogers. Just that plan. Then the Howling Commandos come in, and then all hell breaks loose. And obviously the rest of the army comes in, and I thought it was a great action sequence. Then we get up into the plane where Steve's got to stop because I believe they're gonna bomb like
New
all
York, yeah,
well
everywhere.
everywhere. They're gonna
Yeah.
bomb all parts of the world basically because we saw on the planes London, New York.
They had bombs for each of those, but the plane was directly heading for New York at that time. So.
Right, right. And so I like that fight scene we get at the end between Red Skull and Cap. I thought it was a pretty good fight. It lasted a couple minutes, so I enjoyed that. You know, it wasn't a quick 30-second anticlimactic fight.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2, we're looking at you. But no, I thought it was a good fight right there. You know, you felt a lot of danger for Steve in the moment right there, even though you know he's going to be in the Avengers. But just in the moment when you're not thinking about it, you felt the sense of danger for Steve in that fight. I loved it. And then also we get, like we talked about earlier, we get to see the Tesseract basically transporting the Red Skull somewhere into space that we have no idea that we're guessing Thanos or something like that.
Yeah, and then he drops it and you see it just kind of burn through the plane and just go into the water.
Yeah, definitely. What again, maybe a little gripe, what I thought was interesting was they found the Tesseract right away, and I get it, it's shining, it's glowing, has a lot of energy, probably it brought him to him, but you can find a little tiny Tesseract cube, but you can't find the big crashed ship.
Well, they even said to Howard Stark, you know, we didn't find anything, and he's just like, keep looking, because the Tesseract fell into the water, but the plane fell into the actual
snow. You see wreckage all over. They found a little Tesseract in the ocean, but none of the wreck. Yeah. I don't know.
And then we see that scene at the very end of the movie where he wakes up and he's in this room that looks like he's from his time, but he kind of figures it out right away because that baseball game is playing.
I love that. I was at that game.
I was there. So where am I? And he just busts out of there, and all of a sudden he's in the middle of downtown New York City, just looking around everywhere, and he's just like, bewildered, like, where the hell am I?
Yeah, no.
And Nick Fury shows up. I thought that was cool, and he's like, "You've been asleep, Cap, for about 70 years," and you just see him like, out of his mind a little bit.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, I
had a date.
Yeah, no, I thought Chris Evans phenomenal in that scene right there, the way he expresses his emotions, the way like how he's looking like where am I, like that because like remember last time it was 70 years before, so he's clearly never seen something like this, the future the current present time that we're in. Also to that line, like as you just said, where he says, "You gonna be okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I had a date."
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really, you feel, I kind of get a little bit of a tear in that moment because you really feel sad. He finally found someone that he wanted to share, and he made plans to have that dance and that date with Peggy. So that was
the plane was going down. That was a nice little moment too they had where they were talking to each other as the plane was going down. But yeah, that kind of set up for that scene to have a little more heartfelt.
Yeah, I agree, and I just thought Chris Evans really sold in, did a great job, not only in the entire film, but especially that scene too, right there. Loved it. Overall, I love this film. It's not my top 5 favorite, but it's definitely I mean,
it's close, I think, for me.
Yeah, it's definitely close,
5,
but I love this film. It's entertaining. It has to focus on some things for the Avengers to set up, but it doesn't take away from the focus of the plot and the story. It still stays a Captain America movie, and that's the plot. That's the focus, which I love. I thought the direction was great by Joe Johnston. I thought the action sequences were awesome. I thought the villain in this was menacing and great. I'm going to give Captain America: The First Avenger an 8.3 out of 10.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I thought this was a really cool origin story. Most of these first few films are origin stories, but this one I thought was really cool because it's a different time period. But a lot of great action scenes, great villain, a lot of iconic shots for one of the most iconic, Marvel characters. So I'm going to have to give this movie a 9. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this video. Let us know what you thought about this movie in the comments section. And Captain America Civil War is coming out really soon, so we have this review. We're also going to be doing Captain America Winter Soldier 2, so be on the lookout for that. And if you want to see those videos and all our other videos, you can hit the subscribe button.
See you guys next time.